Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm doing a true crime reading today regarding the case of Lynette Hooker. She was in the Bahamas with her husband Brian. I believe they're American. And on the 4th of April, they were on a dinghy going back to their yacht. And he said that she fell from the dinghy and went overboard. That's all I know about this case. I only came across it yesterday and I've seen Lynette's photo, and I've been able to do some psychic channeling this morning and quite a lot came through actually. So what I'm going to do in this reading is share the channeling with you and then clarify a few of these things and go a bit deeper with some cards. So I've just adjusted the light because I know with paper it can glare a little bit on camera, so hopefully you can see that. The first thing that came through channeled was didn't die in the water. And I was also seeing a tree. Now, by the way, if you haven't seen my channeling before, where I've drawn an image, that's showing that it was a vision. Sometimes I sort of hear things, but quite a lot of this is vision. So I was seeing a tree and hearing that she was beside a tree when it happened, when she was injured, actually, was what I was hearing, because I also heard blunt instrument. And then I was getting this head wound come through. Now, when I channel, I can channel physically. I was feeling it, the top left side of my head. I'm actually feeling it now. So I feel that she was outdoors. I believe it could have been daytime. It's like a sort of field where this tree is. It's not all like covered, so to speak. And yeah, a head wound came through strongly. One of the first things I saw as well was a hat like this. Now, the picture that I got online actually was of Lynette wearing a hat, so I'm not sure if it's that hat, but I was hearing that it's evidence. So maybe that came off her head when this happened, and that's out there somewhere. I also saw a ring. Now, I often get this in these kind of readings, and that shows me the sort of people that were involved. I can't say the word because it gets censored, but a P-file ring, I feel, were involved in this. And then I saw something like this, like a circle with these lines. I was hearing network and then dark web. So these are the energies that were involved in this, I feel. And it was so interesting, when I drew this line came out like a little arrow, like a line and an arrow. So I've sort of just highlighted it a bit darker there for you to see. It's interesting that it's pointing to the tree, isn't it? First of all, I drew that before the tree, actually, but also with that, that's linking to the dark web, isn't it? We think of a certain tail with an arrow on it. So some dark energies. I was getting two energies coming through in particular who were involved. One here and then one who moved her. Because I also felt she was tied up and I was hearing fishing boat. So first she was moved from there to a boat. I also kept seeing this image, which is like an eye, isn't it? But then Spirit was saying it's this boat. So this is like the shape of that boat. And as you can see, there's something on that boat. So I feel, as I said, that she was potentially moved from here to this fishing boat. I did feel that this is at night as well. But what also came through with that looking like an eye was spies and lies. That's how I heard it. So there was some spies around and some lies have been told. I was really feeling it was difficult to breathe. I was channeling that. That's like the last thing that happened. I feel to Lynette. She couldn't breathe. I'm not quite getting if they then put her in the water or if she's on this boat. We might clarify that. I couldn't really get anything else. I feel they could have put her overboard. So then that would fit with the story, wouldn't it? I channeled out of sight, out of mind. I don't know who said that, but that came through, so I've got to call that out. And this was really interesting. This image you might see here, that was a vision. Because I kept seeing an angel like that. But then I was seeing this three-pronged fork that kind of, as you can see, they're quite similar. It turned into this angel. So I'm just sharing what comes through. Obviously no offence to anyone or to Lynette's family, loved ones, but I'm feeling something about a transformation that happened to her. In terms of this dark web, you know, this we could associate with that tail, if you get what I mean. But then someone who, you know, saw the light became an angel, so to speak. And so then they were seen as a threat. She was potentially seen as a threat because of that, because of her light. That's what I'm getting as the motive, and then the out of sight, out of mind. Someone wanted her out of the way. That's what I'm feeling. This is alleged in my opinion. I will just share the first thing I heard actually was Carlotta. I've put it here because I'm not quite sure what that is. Possibly the name of a boat. Or maybe a person in that network has that name. So I just thought I'd share that as well. So as you can see, quite a lot came through in my channeling. And I just wanted to go a little bit deeper, as I said, with the cards, in terms of some of these things that have come through. So I'm going to ask about those two energies that came through, because I feel one was here, one was there. You know, one on land, one on that boat. Well, it's interesting I said about tied up, which we can see in this card, in the image of the Hanged Man. So there's clarification. Now also, by the way, I use cards for clues, if any of you are new viewers here. So not just the meaning of the cards. But yeah, I'm seeing two energies there with the wands, and then one energy tied up. So two energies could have been there. Yeah, there was some conflict among those energies, among that network. So here we're seeing the network. Quite a few people involved, you know, behind this, but two in particular involved in the out of sight, out of mind that came out. So it could even be up to 5 people who were behind it. What I'd like to ask is where Lynette is. See if we can get any clues in terms of where she is right now. Wow, that one just flipped over. I want to take that because isn't that interesting that we've got a boat. It looks like a boat. 3 energies on a boat and there's water. So she could, yeah, she could still be on that boat out there somewhere. That's why I wasn't sure. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Usually I can see if someone's in water or land. Well, this is quite a complex one, isn't it? If someone's, you know, on water but in a boat, so to speak. So yeah, that's potential that she's out there in a boat. And 2 other energies. So a younger energy, potentially. One of them could have been younger. I was seeing, I just want to say, I didn't draw it, someone with a moustache as well. So one could have been a bit older. Yeah, outdoors. It's coming out here as well. I'm going to ask with the cards, is she in a boat still? Because, yeah, I wanted to say, actually, yeah, the Fool, in this deck it's different, but often we see the Fool at the edge of a cliff about to jump off. Those of you who know tarot will have seen that. So, okay, could be in water then. I'm getting, with that one, was in a boat, was potentially tipped into the water, which would, as I said, fit with the storyline, wouldn't it? That she fell off a dinghy. So, okay, is she in water? Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because here, wow, everyone, because we've got an angel that obviously I saw in my vision. And this angel has 1 foot on land, 1 in water. So not entirely sure, but I'm feeling potentially in water. Or it could be close to water. I may do a follow-on reading in the future with a remote viewing on her location, but I'd need a bit more time and energy to do that. I want to ask about this out of sight, out of mind. Anything on the energy that said that? It's obviously not a very nice energy, but can we see anything about that energy that said that? 1 card flipped there. Wow. Ace of Pentacles. So someone invested in this. We often see this in these readings, don't we? Money involved to cover it up. It's interesting, we've got water there in this card. Clouds here, sort of showing, yeah, cover up hidden stuff. Anything else on who invested in this? Wow. Everyone, okay. High Priestess, yeah, secrets, as I said. Something behind the scenes, hidden. It was quite unexpected. Now, this Knight of Swords in this deck has blood on the sword. Isn't that interesting? So I was feeling there was something used, wasn't I? Blunt instrument. So some secrets in terms of making this happen. We've got the Lovers. Now, it doesn't always mean a connection, but I am feeling that here. That there was someone potentially close to her, she knew, behind this. I'm not going to name any names, but something hidden behind the scenes, someone behind the scenes, yeah, who invested, paid 2 people. Okay, so now we're getting 3 energies, aren't we? So one person paid those 2 energies there, potentially, to do this. That's what I'm feeling. Let's go a bit deeper, because this could be the 2 energies. They could be a couple. Are they known to Lynette? Is this person known to her? I'm definitely getting energies come through, as you can see in the cards. Wow. 7 of Swords speaks of lies. Remember I said lies there? Spies and lies. And we've got 3 energies here. One who's younger, which we had before. The 8 of Wands tells us yes, by the way. Potentially there was movement. See here we've got water. Yeah, land and water. There's no gender, by the way, in tarot, but yeah, 3 energies. Oh, wow. See, with the cups, I don't like to say this, everyone, but I'm just reading the cards. With the cups below the 7 of Swords, deception, this speaks of emotions. Someone connected. The 2 of Cups as well. Can be like a soulmate connection. Someone emotional could have been emotional about doing this, but it's like they felt they had to do it. Notice he's close to water there as well. And then the trees. But I'm also seeing that like darkness around this couple. Deception. Dark energies. So interpret that how you will, but some sneaky stuff going on there behind the scenes, it would seem. A couple, someone who was quite cold as well, who paid to make this happen, not naming names in terms of who that was. Now we've got some other clues. Just noticed he's wearing a hat. It's a bit similar to the one I've drawn there, actually. So it could even be this person's hat. And this energy is also wearing a hat. I was getting that it was evidence. Let's see anything else around the hat. I'm just being guided to change decks. One moment, please. Yeah, I'm just going to clarify with another deck. Anything else? Wow. We've got, as you can see here, some affection that flew out on the Queen of Swords. This cold energy behind this is also someone known, I feel, to Lynette. And she's wearing, yeah, like a bonnet there. So, yeah, I feel it's Lynette's hat. I'm getting shivers. It's confirmation. Okay, that's interesting. There was some sort of disagreement, I feel, Lynette had. Oh, by the way, before this reading, just remembered I was sensing that relationship was a bit tumultuous. Beyond verbal, like physical as well. Just got to put that out there. But yeah, there was some sort of disagreement, I feel, between them. Possibly a loss of money. And she might have found something out. I always get that with this card. See how she's found something that maybe she didn't like. She might have brought it up with him. And he didn't like that, in terms of what she knew. Yeah, I'm suddenly, right, around my heart chakra, I'm getting tightness. So there was some conflict that happened between them, is what I'm feeling, around that time. And maybe that was what led to this. I'll leave that there, everyone, but I think as the first reading that was quite interesting, quite a lot came through. As I said, I may do a full-on reading in the future. So share in the comments your feelings, your thoughts, anything you felt that came through as well, if you wish. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.